This is Masud. He builds Singapore. 12 hours from now he will be on a tower you can see from the city's skyline. And tonight he is here, in a room he shares with 15 other men. He counted them for a caseworker, 16 beds, stacked in pairs. The aisle down the middle is about a metre wide. Between the beds beside him, the gap is 30 to 40 centimetres. Here is how he described it. So narrow, only one man can walk in or walk out. Singapore is one of the richest places human beings have ever built, and famously one of the most planned. Nothing here is an accident, which is exactly what makes Masud's room interesting. So, 2 questions. How does the man who builds the skyline end up sleeping 16 to a room? And in a city that plans everything, who planned this? One thing before we start, and it matters. This film is about older dormitories. Not all worker housing and not the new build standard. Singapore's own ministry counts around 900 existing dormitories that need to be brought up to standard. Those are the rooms we are in. Let me draw the room the way this city draws everything. Precisely, one rectangle. Now subdivide it. 4 beds, 8, 16. That is Masud's room, and it is not the worst one on the record. In the same set of interviews, a man named Islamdin described his. In my dormitory, 1 room sleeping 26 man, or bed full. Now here is the number the whole film turns on. The space standard those older rooms are being asked to reach by 2030 is 3.6 square metres per man. Let me draw 3.6 square metres. That's it. That's the target. A parking space is about 11. So the improvement, the thing being worked toward, is a third of a parking space per person. And the first order answer to our first question is uncomfortable in its simplicity. Masud sleeps there because that is what his job buys in this city, and because the room is not illegal. It is the licensed standard. His day starts before the cities. Out to sight, 12 hours of the work Singapore does not do itself, then back to queues. For the showers, for the cooking rings, for the Wi-Fi that carries him home to his family for an hour. His bunk is his flat. The curtain is his front door. And in a room of 16, the day never fully ends, because someone's alarm is always next. Hold on to this part. Almost nothing you have just seen is broken. The room passed inspection. Follow the money into the room. He did not simply take this job, he bought it. Caseworkers have documented men remitting $3,700 to an agent against a basic salary of $520 a month. Do that arithmetic? 7 months of pay owed before the first shift. His permit is tied to his employer, so losing the job means losing the right to be in the country. His employer is required to house him and buys that housing by the bed from a dormitory operator at a market rate. And here is the sentence I need you to hear plainly. The beds have an index. Twice a year, the Dormitory Association of Singapore and Knight Frank. The property consultancy, the same kind of firm that indexes office towers, published a research report on worker accommodation. In the first half of 2025, it put the island-wide average at $490 per bed per month, up 8.9% on the year. Occupancy, 98.3%. Read that last figure again, 98.3%. In any other asset class that is a landlord stream, and it is printed in a research report next to a forecast. The report also notes that retail investors will have access to investing in these properties, beds, as a product. So round the board, the agent is paid up front, risk-free. The employer pays a levy to the state and a bed rate to the operator, so every dollar of housing is a cost, and density is savings. The operator's revenue is beds times rate times occupancy, which means 16 to a room is not a failure of the design. It is the design optimized. The state licenses the operators, collects the levies, and writes the deadlines. And Masud arrives owing 7 months of pay, with his permit chained to a payroll, in no position to negotiate the distance between his bed and the next one. Every player here is behaving rationally. The room is what rational looks like from below. Here is the reveal this film has been holding, and it is not a scandal. It is the opposite. Everything in that room is inspected, licensed, counted. Singapore's ministry publishes the list. The industry publishes the rates. The dormitories sit in zones the planners chose. Industrial edges, reclaimed corners, mostly where the city does not look. And this is what separates Singapore from the last two films in this series. Taipei's rooftop homes are illegal. The state pretends not to see them. Japan's cafe dwellers are uncounted. The state's ruler cannot measure them. Singapore's dormitories are neither. They are counted, licensed, indexed, and planned, whatever the intent. And the stated intent is orderly, affordable worker housing. A city this deliberate does not house 16 men to a room by oversight. The room passed inspection. That is the point. Then, in 2020, the whole country found out at once. When the pandemic reached Singapore, it went where density lives. The dormitories became the epicentre. And for long stretches of that year, the overwhelming majority of the country's cases were dormitory residents. The rooms were sealed with the men inside them. The city that had zoned them out of sight could not look anywhere else. Pledges followed, and to be fair, real ones. Dormitories built since 2021 meet genuinely better standards. In January, the ministry put money behind the old stock too. A grant to help around 900 existing dormitories retrofit, with more offered to operators who finish early. So here is the reform stated plainly. By 2030, rooms capped at 12 men, 3.6 square metres each, in suite toilets, isolation facilities. That is real, it is funded, and it is enforceable. And then there is the arithmetic of its own ambition. 12 men, a third of a parking space, 4 more years. And 3.6 is not even the destination. The final standard, 4.2 square metres, is set for 2040, 20 years after the outbreak that made the rooms visible. So go back to Masud, behind the curtain 30 centimetres from the next man. Why do the men who build Singapore sleep 16 to a room? Because a system this rational priced it that way. An agent who sells the job. An employer who holds the permit. An operator whose yield improves as the room fills. A state that licenses the whole arrangement and posts its improvement 4 years out. The room is not neglect and it is not scandal. It is the design working. For every player who is not in it. The dormitory is the shape a labor system takes when a city wants the work but only rents the worker. And that is the trilogy told 3 ways. Taipei hid its overflow on the roofs. Japan filed its overflow on the customers. Singapore filed it correctly. Licensed, indexed, inspected. And built it 16 beds at a time. Watch the 2030 deadline. Not whether the rooms reach 12 men. Whether anyone asks why 12 was the ambition. The overflow takes a different shape in every rich city. In Japan, it sleeps upright in internet cafe booths the homeless count cannot see. That story is on screen now.